By and by, when we got up, we turned over the truck the gang had stole off of the wreck, and found boots, and blankets, and clothes, and all sorts of other things, and a lot of books, and a spyglass, and 3 boxes of cigars. We hadn't ever been this rich before in neither of our lives. The cigars was prime. We laid off all the afternoon in the woods talking, and me reading the books, and having a general good time. I told Jim all about what happened inside the wreck and at the ferryboat, and I said these kinds of things was adventures, but he said he didn't want no more adventures. He said that when I went in the Texas and he crawled back to get on the raft and found her gone, he nearly died, because he judged it was all up with him. Anyway, it could be fixed, for if he didn't get saved he would get drowned, and if he did get saved, whoever saved him would send him back home so as to get the reward, and then Miss Watson would sell him south, sure. Well, he was right, he was most always right, he had an uncommon level head, for a nigger. I read considerable to Jim about kings and dukes and earls and such, and how gaudy they dressed, and how much style they put on, and called each other your majesty, and your grace, and your lordship, and so on, stead of Mr., and Jim's eyes bugged out, and he was interested. He says, I didn't know day was so many UNM. I hain't hearn 'bout none UNM, scasely, but ole King Solomon, onless you counts dem kings that's in a pack o' K yards. How much do a king git get? I says, why, they get $1,000 a month if they want it, they can have just as much as they want, everything belongs to them. Ain't that gay? What they got to do, Huck? They don't do nothing. Why, how you talk? They just set around. No, is that so? Of course it is. They just sit around, except, maybe, when there's a war, then they go to the war. But other times they just lazy around, or go hawking, just hawking and did you hear a noise? We skipped out and looked, but it warn't nothing but the flutter of a steamboat's wheel away down, coming around the point, so we come back. Yes, says I, and other times, when things is dull, they fuss with the Parliament, and if everybody don't go just so he whacks their heads off. But mostly they hang round the harem. Round at a witch. Harem. What's the harem? The place where he keeps his wives. Don't you know about the harem? Solomon had one, he had about 1 million wives. Why, yes, that's so, I done forgot it. A harem's a boden house, I reckon. Most likely dey has rackety times in de nussery. I reckon de wives quarrels considerable, that crease de racket. Yet dey say Solomon de wisest man that ever live. I don't take no stock in that because why, would a wise man want to live in de midst of sich a blimblamin for all de time? No, deed he wouldn't. A wise man you take bills a biler factory, den he could shet down de biler factory when he want to rest. Well, but he was the wisest man anyway, because the widow she told me so, her own self. I don't care what the widow say, he warn't no wise man not her. He had some of the dad-fetched ways I ever see. Does you know about that chili that he use gwin to chop in too? Yes, the widow told me all about it. Well, den. Warn't that the beatenst notion in the world? You jays take look at it a minute. Da's de stump, da, that's one de women, here is you, that's de youth a one, I Solomon, dish your dollar bills to chili. Both you claims it. What does I do? Does I shin around amongst de neighbors find out which you de bill do belong to, hand it over to de right one, all safe sound, the way that anybody that had any gumption would? No, I take whack de bill in two, give half it to you, de youth a half to de youth a woman. That's the way Solomon was gwin to do with de chili. Now I want to ask you, what's the use of that half a bill, can't buy nothing with it. What use is a half a chili? I wouldn't give a dern for 1 million UNM. But hang it, Jim, you've clean missed the point, blame it, you've missed it 1,000 mile. Who? Me? Go along. Don't talk to me about yoke pints. I reckon I know sense when I sees it, they ain't no sense in sich doings as that dispute warn't about a half a chili, that spute was about a whole chili, a man that think he kin settle a dispute about a whole chili with a half a chili don't know enough to come in out and the rain. Don't talk to me about Solomon, Huck, I knows him by de back. But I tell you don't get the point. Blame the point. I reckon I knows what I knows. Mind you, the real pint is down further, it's down deeper. It lays in the way Solomon was raised. You take a man that's got only 1 or 2 chillin, is that man gwine to be wastful owed chillin? No, he ain't, he can't afford it. He know how to value them. But you take a man that's got about 5 million chillin running round at a house, it's different. He as soon chop a chili in 2 as a cat. Days plenty mo. A chili too, monia less, warn't no consequence to Solomon, dad fetch him. I never see such a nigger. If he got a notion in his head once, there warn't no getting it out again. He was the most down on Solomon of any nigger I ever see. So I went to talking about other kings, and let Solomon slide. I told about Louis XVI that got his head cut off in France long time ago, and about his little boy the dolphin, that would have been a king, but they took and shut him up in jail, and some say he died there. Pope little chapter. But some says he got out and got away, and come to America. That's good. But he'll be pooty lonesome, dey ain't no kings here, is dey, Huck? No. Den he can't git no situation. What he gwine to do? Well, I don't know. Some of them gets on the police, and some of them learns people how to talk French. Why, Huck, don't the French people talk the same way we does? No, Jim, you couldn't understand a word they said, not a single word. Well, now, I be ding busted. How did that come? I don't know, but it's so. I got some of their jabber out of a book. S'pose a man was to come to you and say Parlez-vous Franzy, what would you think? I would think nothin', I'd take and bust him over the head, that is, if he warn't white. I wouldn't low no nigger to call me that. Shucks, it ain't calling you anything. It's only saying, do you know how to talk French? Well, den, why couldn't he say it? Why, he is saying it. That's a Frenchman's way of saying it. Well, it's a blame ridiculous way, I don't want to hear no more about it. Dey ain't no sense in it. Looky here, Jim, does a cat talk like we do? No, a cat don't. Well, does a cow? No, a cow don't, not her. Does a cat talk like a cow, or a cow talk like a cat? No, they don't. It's natural and right for them to talk different from each other, ain't it? Course. And ain't it natural and right for a cat and a cow to talk different from us? Why, most surely it is. Well, then, why ain't it natural and right for a Frenchman to talk different from us? You answer me that. Is a cat a man, Huck? No. Well, den, dey ain't no sense in a cat talking like a man. Is a cow a man, is a cow a cat? No, she ain't either of them. Well, den, she ain't got no business to talk like either one of the either of them. Is a Frenchman a man? Yes. Well, den. Dad blame it, why don't he talk like a man? You answer me that. I see it warn't no use wasting words, you can't learn a nigger to argue. So I quit.